Hello and welcome back to the Flaxman's YouTube channel, where we provide insurance information and advice for businesses and consumers. In this video, I will be providing for you 5 travel traps that are to be avoided if you want your holiday or business trip to be a success. My name is Eleanor Appleton from Flaxman's. We don't sell insurance, but we provide solutions for when things go wrong. Don't turn your sun trap into an insurance trap. For travel insurance, you usually pay a small premium just in case something goes wrong, but you don't really ever expect to claim. But if you do have to claim, it's only then that you really think about the cover that you have bought. You may be surprised to discover that a travel insurance policy is actually one of the most complicated policies out there. And even the most cautious of traveller is not going to spend hours and hours reading through all the small print. In fact, the term small print may as well have been coined for travel insurance policies because, well, it's really small. And that is because all those clever insurance people have to cram in so many terms and conditions. Trap number 1. You think you don't need travel insurance. You've just booked 2 weeks in Portugal and have just heard that the reciprocal medial agreement for countries within the EC stays in force for now, even though the UK has left the EC. So is there any point paying for insurance? The flight didn't cost that much, nor did the accommodation, so why bother? Even if you are happy to take the risk that you might lose your flight and accommodation costs if you can't travel due to ill health, you must consider what would happen if your holiday was curtailed whilst abroad. Even if you don't have to pay for hospital care for illness or injury, what would happen if your party had to come home early? Return flights purchased at the last minute are not likely to be at the bargain basement price that you bought them for in the first place. In some instances, medics suggest that you have to catch an air ambulance home. Where are you going to find £30,000 if you're not insured? So make sure you take out some cover, even if you're only going to Europe. Think very carefully when applying for travel insurance about your existing health conditions and anyone else's that you're travelling with. For example, if you have a heart attack when you're away, but you failed to disclose to the insurer that you had a minor heart condition 4 years before, they are not going to pay for your emergency health care or repatriation costs. Before you apply for your travel insurance, have a careful think about your medical history and write it all down. That way you can be confident that you haven't overlooked anything. But you haven't finished there. A good travel insurance policy will protect you from injury and illness suffered by anyone else on whom the trip depends. This might apply to a business partner or a relative. Think, if something happened to a person that meant that you had to cancel your trip or come home early, you would be expected to divulge their medical history too. I mean, this might sound harsh and unreasonable, but right or wrong, this is what most insurers would expect. Trap number 3. You might decide to treat your family and friends and fund a family holiday. Now, everyone loves a free holiday, don't they? So you end up with a group of 8. You already have an annual travel insurance policy for yourself and your partner, so you tell the rest of the group to get their own travel insurance. Now, this isn't likely to work. The only entirely satisfying way of insuring a whole group is by ignoring any existing policies and getting a one-off policy for the group, listing each individual traveller. Otherwise, an insurer will only pay out for the losses of the 2 existing policyholders. And much of the cover bought by the other members will only cover their own financial losses. And if they haven't had to pay for the holiday, they won't have any financial losses. So the rule is 1 holiday, 1 group, 1 policy. Yes, that sounds unreasonable, but unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Trap number 4, baggage and belongings cover. Some of the less expensive travel policies can be quite restrictive and the cover limit can be quite low. Sometimes they're not up to the job. However, if you already have home contents insurance that covers your possessions outside of the home, you may already have satisfactory cover without even realising it. Check your contents policy and seek advice if necessary. If you discover that you are already covered on that policy, you can go and try and negotiate a lower premium for your travel insurance in exchange for taking off baggage and belongings from the cover. If you do decide to keep your baggage and belongings cover on the travel policy, make sure you read the policy to see what conditions are imposed. For example, some policies exclude theft of belongings and especially valuables whilst unattended, unless they are in a locked place out of sight, for example, a car boot. However, other policies exclude unaccompanied possessions wherever they may be, even in a locked boot, which makes the policy completely worthless. Unless you travel a great deal, consider buying a one-off policy for every trip rather than annual cover. The benefit of doing it this way is that it concentrates your mind on the medical conditions that you need to declare. This important duty can be more easily overlooked with an annual policy, and we have seen claims being declined for holidays that have been booked in one insurance year for a trip that is taking place in the next year. We saw one claim when an annual cover was renewed by another insurer. The insurer on cover when the holiday was booked said that it should be covered by the new insurer. The new insurer said it should be the old insurer, and so it went on. Don't delay buying your insurance until just before you jet away. You need to buy the insurance at the same time as booking the holiday, otherwise you have no protection against cancellation. And take the policy with you on holiday so you have all the information there with you if you need it. And put all your insurer's contact details into your phone. Now all you need is enough money to buy the holiday and spending money. Check whether you'd been admitted to the country now we have left the EC, and whether or not you need a negative COVID-19 test before you travel. Make sure you leave enough time to get the results before you travel. And if you have a valid passport with 6 months left on it before it expires. You could, of course, just stay at home. There are many traps, as you can see. Sometimes an insurance company will reject a claim, although it's not right to do so. Flaxmans can help if an insurance company has been unfair. If you liked this video and found it useful, don't forget to subscribe by clicking on the link below. If you would like other useful insurance hints and tips, go over to the Flaxmans website and subscribe to our newsletter. Thanks for watching.